Well, welcome. Welcome in a manner of speaking to Green College at the University of British Columbia. That's where I am as principal of the college. My name is Mark Vesey. And so I and others in this immediate community here on the ground are enjoying the hospitality of the Musqueam people whose traditional, ancestral and unceded territory this is. Hospitality that upon which I think it's fair to say we have presumed too much for too long, but that doesn't alter the gratitude that we feel for having it at this point. Welcome, wherever you are, to the first in this series, Distance as a Keeping, hosted and presented by Green College's first Meredith and Peter Quartermain poet in residence, who is Margaret Christakos. We had a curtain raiser with Margaret a few weeks ago when she read from some of her work and gave us a sense of some of her practices, and also provided a preview of some of the activities of this residency, which we had hoped she'd be beginning with us in person. She is still in Toronto while we are in Vancouver, but we've been dreaming again, just before we opened up this call, of all the things that will be possible here in April, and we're going to hold on to that dream. In the meantime, there are 3 events in the series Distance as a Keeping. I'm just waiting to see if Peter and Meredith are with us. Let me pull up my list of participants so I can acknowledge our sponsors. In any case, we are very grateful to them for their support for this post of poet in residence at Green College, and we're going to make the most of it. I don't think I'm going to say anymore. I'm going to turn things over to Margaret, who will introduce her guests and begin this cabaret. Margaret, thank you. It's all yours.
Thank you, Mark. Great to see you. Great to be here. Great to stretch across the country and feel that Green College tug. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm sure others will join along the next little while. Tonight, I'm going to start with a land acknowledgement. You'll have to excuse my throat. I don't have COVID, but something's happening. But I'd like to start with a land acknowledgement that is offered by the Ontario-based literary press Brick Books. Brick is the publisher of Why I Was Late, which is the debut poetry collection by one of our guests tonight, Charlie Petch. Though much of the work of Brick Books takes place on the ancestral lands of the Anishinaabeg, Haudenosaunee, Huron-Wendat, and Mississaugas of the Credit peoples, our editors, authors, and readers from many backgrounds are situated from coast to coast to coast on the traditional and unceded territories of over 600 nations who have cared for Turtle Island from time immemorial. While living and working on these lands, we are committed to hearing and returning the rightful imaginative space to the poetries, songs, and stories that have been untold, undertold, wrongly told, and suppressed through colonization. I'm going to start tonight by just sharing the bios of my 2 guests with you, Charlie Petch and Janice Jo Lee. I think it's important for artists to hear their bios recited into public space. So even though you could read these yourself on the website, I wanted just to take a few minutes to do that. Charlie Petch, they, them, he, him, is a disabled, queer, transmasculine, multidisciplinary artist who resides in Toronto. A poet, playwright, librettist, musician, lighting designer, and host, Charlie was the 2017 Poet of Honor for Speak North National Festival, winner of the 2020 Golden Beret Lifetime Achievement in Spoken Word with the League of Canadian Poets, and founder of Hot Damn, It's a Queer Slam. Charlie is a touring performer, as well as a mentor and workshop facilitator. Last year, they published Why I Was Late, filmed their libretto, Medusa's Children, and in April will be launching Daughter of Geppetto, a multimedia dance music performance poetry piece. And Janice Jo Lee, she, they, also known as Sing Hey, is a folk soul singer-songwriter, spoken word poet, actor, and playwright of Korean ancestry from Kitchener on Haldimand Tract Treaty territory. Janice is a hard femme, queer, radical, comedian, truth teller, and trickster whose work explores gender justice, anti-racism, friendship, community, ancestry, and the earth. Her one-woman musical satire, Will You Be My Friend, premiered at Theatre Passe Muraille in 2018, and her work has been produced with Greenlight Arts, MT Space, and FuGen Asian Canadian Theatre. She's got 2 album projects in the works, Ancestor Song and Lonely is the Lullaby. Those titles may be changing, but at this point, they're in the works. And she has also worked as an anti-oppression educator for 8 years, facilitating workshops across the country. So tonight, we have the pleasure of receiving a live Zoom show by Janice and Charlie of about 45 to 50 minutes. So it's a mega show. It's a real treat. Afterwards, we will have a chance for some discussion and Q&A and maybe make some sound together. But I'm going to start us off with a framing text, which will be about 8 minutes long. So now's a great time to go and get your snacks and refill your water if you'd like. I value the ways Charlie Petch and Janice Jo Lee each forge a multimodal approach to live performance. It seems to me that they interfold many materials and approaches to evolve smaller performative scenes explored in an experimental studio practice. Then it feels like they aggregate these to longer live performative stage works that have the flavor and immediacy of theatrical cabaret, exploring queer and transgender, social justice, activism, self, and community, among many, many other themes. As solo performers, they both use looping and vocal overlaying to create a kind of choral multitude, which I am extremely vulnerable to. The audience seems constructed as a social being with, never a blank object. There's humor and courage side by side, with room for whatever distance each person present needs to inhabit. One of my favorite forms of distance as a keeping is art making that involves the collage, the placing side by side of units of composition in a tentative or fixed arrangement for an interval of time. It's my pleasure to be kept at a distance at Green Collage, to think of a college that way, as a proximity of thinkers in space together, shifting their relations, never static. I'm also thinking about distance as a keeping in the collage of scientists the world over involved in the James Webb Telescope unfurling in outer space. Now that's a long poem. It may simply be another long poem of colonialism. Yet, we hope. And the fastidious sutures of the submarine fiber optic cable 37 kilometers off the Tonga coast, and the weather forecasters telling us in every time zone what newfangled climate event will be proximate next Friday. Earlier, when I referred to the bios, I mentioned studio. So what's a studio? Does it have to do with study, studiousness? Is study a locus for mindfulness and meditation, or for the formal, highly directed work of learning? More contemporary uses of the word study, for example, in Fred Moten and Stephen Hardy's The Undercommons, Fugitive Planning and Black Study, foreground a kind of shared theorizing, a responsive poetics of thinking together that fuels an ongoing liberative process of social change, racial justice, and decolonization. This study sounds more like inhabiting a studio in which movement of collaborative making extends in many directions and can be subversive, even revolutionary. I'm also thinking about the studio as space for making. Organizations that strive to create more equitable housing options for artists, like Toronto's Artscape, typically offer studio apartments, but whether or not this works as an actual studio might rest on the materiality of the work one is trying to make, not to mention one's economy. Poets tend to work anywhere. Great pens, a journal, stack of blank paper, dictionaries, laptop, printer, good Wi-Fi. A dining table can be an excellent studio. Some think of cafes, bars, libraries, and others parks, public transit, warehouse lunchrooms as their mobile studio. Some think of their lunch break as their studio. For what goes on in a studio, though, most think of the visual arts, especially painting, messy forms of art making, a space where you can leave all the process in process, a space you can activate, leave, and activate again, with the work evolving, emerging, changing form and idea, gaining conceptual and material multiplicity. Time in the studio is charged with glimmerings of new shapes of thinking, of body, with the imagination practicing new kinds of attachment. Of course, musicians idea jam in studio, and I'm thinking too about open source dancers in a dance studio, rehearsing and inventing how bodies converse, synchronize, and then find their own impulses. There's work here, and also surprise, desire, self-identity, play and display, collaboration. Improvisation is a form of making that especially goes on in the studio. One 20th century meaning that also comes to mind is the broadcast studio, a space where a performance of the news is staged and transmitted through radio or television, ancient history to people in their homes. We'd all think of announcers being in studio for live conversations with special guests. There was something intimate about being in studio, something candid, connective. Being in studio meant you had a body and your guest had a body, instead of being framed with only one's upper torso and head fixed and groomed for performance, as we have decided to be on pandemic Zoom. In the media tech world, studio might also be equivalent to being behind the scenes, given access to all the work being done in the studio to produce shows that, when they are on air, seem seamless, slick, smooth, coherent, organized. The studio then has a flavor of dailiness, disorder, of inchoate becoming, of being interested in rehearsing many possibilities, of process, and allowing ongoing transformation. I would say this little riffle through associations with the studio is a kind of subjective being in studio. It is a loose associative mode of moving from one thought to another, composing adjacencies and rotations. Last August, very soon into virtually meeting Mark Vesey, he told me about the core values of Green College, ideas and friendship. Other terms basic to the place were interdisciplinary and conversation. All of this sounded like the kind of creative collage of a community we should all have, plus a dining hall and a nude beach. December 31st, 2021, an Instagram post caught my eye. Screw the pandemic, alone in pajamas. Janice Jo Lee was giving a New Year's Eve virtual concert called Lullabies for End Times, and I could still download a ticket. Charlie Petch was going to give some cameo co-performance moments. All the better. Well, pleasant as a house party bathed in electric purple light, it turned out that Janice and Charlie had become roommates, and the performative spaciousness of their new place together was quickly taking the likeness of a studio, full of extensive kits of electronics, musical instruments, dogs, posters, dogs, props, and costumes endemic to each of their individual practices. A couple of days into the new year, it hit me. What might Janice and Charlie generate as friends, queer allies, and cohabitants if invited to collaborate on an online performance situated in their shared domestic spaces? When we checked in last week, they said 3 themes seem to be developing. First, thinking about the planet and apocalypse. Second, gender, in particular femme and transmasculine. And third, self-discovery. So I hope tonight invites us to think about friendship, creative collaboration, and the processes it implements, and co-performance collage. We don't know what it is to be performed, what is to be performed here, deformed, reformed, unconformed, contoured here amidst our shared audience, but we know there has been play, experiment, hypothesis, foray, conjecture, and a mutual pitching of woo across a room or a few rooms, and they have engaged in their own ways in what I called as an invitation, the multiplying of intimacies across a room, across their set of rooms, their studio, this stage. This performance is generously entering the room we are each within, with our own magic box screen, side by side by side, our open faces, our own collage of listening here tonight. Without further ado, please help me welcome Charlie Petch and Janice Jo Lee.
What kindness and patience you hold. What a mother you are, despite of all we've done. You show up on our best days and our worst, giving us bouquets of oxygen and food. Thank you, our wonderful mother. I know you'll be stronger without us. A fighter like so many mothers. Exhausted, resilient, miraculous.
눈은 녹고 비는 내리면 눈은 녹고 비는 내리며 바다는 또 오르고 내 몸속 피는 강물처럼 내 몸속 피는 강물처럼 내 몸속 피는 강물처럼 성급하게 휘두른다. 우린 모두 바다 행성에 떠다니는 사람들. 너는 수영할 수 있니? 영원히 수영할 수 있니? That was my piece, Swim Forever, which is in Korean language and is really about rising waters, climate change, and the water that rises in the world is the same as the water in our bodies. And the question is, can you swim forever? Back to normal life. Back to work. 9 to 5. Video calls, commute, drive, projects, workflow, deadlines. On the clock, linear time, never out of office, went online, swept back into the hard grind, labor of hands, labor of mind. Contracted, bound to hourly time. To the stream, downloading through the screen. Colleagues in boxes, notes in chats, tasks in comments. Shared docs, in drives, in lines, in box. Fall behind, scroll back, catch up. Don't drop, the Slack is down. Did you get my email? The Slack is down. Did you get my email? The Slack is down. Did you get my email? Has it been 2 business days? Has it been 2 business days? Has it been 2 business days? The machine whirs again, and my bucolic summer is over. Bike rides, park hangs, picnics, long walks, a recess, a time out, over now. My friends are working, and I'm a poet for whom walking, feeling, thinking is research. So I go to the lake. It never cancels on our morning meditation. I go to the forest, committed to its neighborhood, rooted, growing, reaching. Only the earth supports me daily. Water to calm my fiery pain, land to ground my windy brain. I wish for my friends I could say the same, but only the earth will love you back, always. Thank you.
Thank you. Janice Jo Lee, The Earth Will Love You Back. We should mention that we have a not-so-silent partner here, has a dedicated webcam. This is Tempo the dog. Everybody, Tempo. Yes, thank you. I'm so full of words for you. I always have been. Sometimes, when you were asleep, I would whisper, I love you, as lightly as pollen. Now, I love you, after the moon has fallen into the ocean, and the bees have burned onto the sun. I hope you can hear me say, I love you, in your dreams. Maybe it is the sound of a willow. I love you. Do you remember trees? I love you. I love you. Thank you.
What was that poem called, Charlie?
Oh, thank you. That was a love poem for climate change. I'm very happy to let you know.
Climate change seems to be a theme of this show. Is that something that you're feeling anxious about?
I'm feeling very anxious about climate change. And
I'm not.
Oh, no.
No,
You're fine.
I know how to swim.
You're living in a completely different climate.
I can ride bikes.
You can ride bikes.
Everything is fine.
Everything's totally fine. We don't want to alarm anybody. We want to alarm anybody.
We don't want to alarm anybody.
Don't want to alarm you.
Just keep driving your
It's
car.
fine.
Everything will be fine.
It's super great. We love it.
Don't even worry about it.
Drill away.
Cheap gas is what is most important. Cheap
that is
gas.
the most important thing.
And I don't want to have to wash my plastic takeout containers. I just like to throw it out. It's about convenience, Charlie.
It's about convenience.
It's really about convenience.
Yeah.
The earth will figure it out, but like I need to just not do dishes. I don't have time for that.
I mean, if billionaires can go to space, then why not we send the rest of the garbage out there too?
That's a really good idea.
That's a really good idea.
That's a really good idea.
Maybe they should bring some with them. Or
they could just jettison it out into space.
Yeah.
There is tons of space out there.
Space. Space.
It's true. It's true. We're so excited to be doing this show for Margaret Christakos' series, Distance as a Keeping. We're like multiplying intimacies across a room using multiple cameras.
Yes.
While we moved our performances to this virtual stage, but still having fun, everybody. We are having fun. I hope you're having fun. I know it's fun for me living with Charlie, one of few actor, poet, clown educators in this country like me.
Yeah. So
Lighting designers.
Lighting designers. Yeah. Yeah, it's a real honor to share space with you as well. We're all ready for the apocalypse. No, we're not.
That previous section about climate change was a sarcasm.
Yes. If people didn't,
for the viewers who were.
Thank you. I see the chats just blowing up because now everybody's
know who the dog is. Our special guest, our mascot, is Tempo.
Tempo the dog.
And she keeps morale up, while anxiety is up.
Yeah.
And depression, brings you down. You need a dog to bring morale up. Go outside for your walk for your mental health.
And I feel like she's also like the mental health cam for the show. So, if things get a little bit too much, you can just watch her chew on an antler. Isn't that nice? Just the warmest, sweetest.
We're trying to take care of our audience and make sure you have everything you need.
It's not been easy, guys. Y'all.
All right. Gender. What's that? Gender.
I've never heard of it.
Oh gosh, what a journey
Yeah.
gender is.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna do a poem for you here.
Oh.
And it's well, I grew up a tomboy and now I'm a hard femme. And I love this way of describing myself. When I heard these two adjectives together, hard femme, I was like, that's me. I will fight you while still being cute for my rights and dignity. So here's a little piece about that. No, I won't go, said no, I won't go. No. Why are you walking
I won't
down this street
go,
like
said
you
no.
own this place,
I
girl?
won't go.
Why are you walking
I won't
down this street
go,
like
said
you
no.
own this place,
I
girl?
won't go.
Can I just
Why
go out
are
of the
you
house?
walking
I won't
down
down
this
this
go to the
street
store
like
said
you
no.
own this
Go to the
place,
house. I
girl?
Go.
Can I just
Why
go out
are
of the
you
house?
walking
down this
go to the
street
store
like
said
you
no.
own this place,
I
girl?
Go.
Can I just
Why
go out
are
of the
you
house?
walking
down this street like you own this place, girl?
Go.
Can I just When a femme walks down the street, she is not, they are not, he is not meat. Oh, when a femme walks down the street, she is not, he is not, they are not meat. You have a no say in what they are wearing. You have no say on if they talk to you. You have no say on if they are smiling. Just move out of the way. 'Cause when a femme walks out onto the street, she is not, he is not, they are not me. Just move out of the way. Just move out of the way. Just move out of the way. Just move out of the Because with the thump, thump of my platform and the zip, zip of my jean jacket, with the swish, swish of my silky tresses, move over, I have arrived. Let my sing-song voice lure you not into a trance, but into attention. For hard, femme, high-power human is before you, and I demand respect. My lips are stained from the male nutritious breakfast I had this morning. My blood is pumped up from all the man spreaders I bulldozed on my way over here, still looking picture perfect. Miss Hard Femme High Power is here to demonstrate power in speaking femme, looking femme, walking femme. Miss Hard Femme High Power is not here for man. That's right. I want power. I want power to go out into the world and be the badass bitch that I am without reprimand. Not because I'm some slender piece of meat ready to be gazed at, glazed at, consumed, criticized, and controlled. No. I take no shit and I get shit done. I am ready to pounce on the oppressor who pushes femmes off the page, off the stage, pushes femmes down. I will aggressively defend my right to exist and flourish. And I will shout down the throats of men who only understand to and respond to languages of violence. I will go there. I will unabashedly kick you out of my way to get free. Just move out of the way. Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry.
Does my ferocity like scare you? Does my personality make you feel inferior? Am I allowed to rah for your comfort? Well, if you can't handle the truth, you can't handle the revolution. So comments deleted, friendship deleted, man repelling strategy completed. I don't have time for your shit. So be on your way. I have no time to hold your hand today. This is my anthem for the how to get free worlds. The battle cry for the fight for your right world. This is the poisonous blossom of the patient bud unfurled. Prepare yourself to give up space, to give up comfort, to give up entitlement, for the hour has come for the hard, femme, high power human to push over the archaic institution of men. Thank you. Thank you.
Everybody. Here we go. Oh, hello. Thank you. Hello. I'm just going to read a little poem from my recent book, from Brick Books, Why I Was Late. It's written because, you know, I have to come up with so many excuses about why I was late, other than trauma, that I wrote a whole book about why I was late, so that nobody knows how I actually feel. Okay. Yeah, and you know, living with a little bit of secrecy and a little bit of like strangeness is just like regular everyday stuff for trans people. Just recently, I became completely opaque. Everybody could see me like 3 days ago. It was amazing, the Trans Day of Visibility, but I wasn't always trans visible. For a long time, I didn't have access to my identity, who I was, and I would endlessly refer to everything that I wore and everything I did that felt femme, which is a powerful, wonderful state of being, but it just was never my state of being. I would just always say that I was in drag. So I wrote this little poem to celebrate the many years I spent in drag, and it's called I'm So Good at Drag. Okay.
I'm so good at drag. 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 I'm so good at drag.
I got the doctor to put female on my birth certificate.
I'm so good at drag. I'm so good at drag. I'm so good at drag. I'm so good at drag.
I'm so good at drag that my parents called me cabaret.
I'm so good at drag. I'm so good at drag.
So girly.
I'm so good at drag. I'm so good at drag. I'm so good at drag. I'm so good at drag.
I'm so good at drag that I got the job and overperformed, but still didn't get promoted. But I did get sexually harassed and all of my ideas stolen.
I'm so good at drag. I'm so good at drag. I'm so good at drag. I'm so good at drag.
I'm so good at drag that my boy band tried to pay me less than the other guys.
I'm so good at drag. I'm so good at drag. I'm so good at
drag that I am allowed to cry in public, be excused from manual labor. And when I say stuff like, this body wants a baby, nobody laughs at me. Okay, I actually just want to stop and talk about that one line right there. Thank you, Janice. Yeah, so like people of all different genders want to be pregnant, and it is just like a really real feeling for a lot of people, not me personally, but there are a lot of people, even people who are cis male, that are desperate to be pregnant, to hold a baby in their belly, and I just want to honor that and talk about that a little bit. Okay, back we go.
I'm so good at drag. I'm so good at drag. I'm so good at drag. I'm so good
at drag that some of my cis male partners thought that we were having straight sex the whole time.
I'm so good at drag. I'm so good at drag.
It was great.
I'm so good at drag.
I'm so good at drag that some of you don't understand what this poem is about.
I'm so good at drag. I'm so good at drag.
Oh. Whoa. Okay. Oh my gosh. The tempo cam is working overtime today. She's just on a up and running. There she goes. Such a good girl. Such a nice good girl. Janice, why don't we talk a little? What?
You know, there's
Yes.
like a panorama going on.
There's a panorama going on.
People
I
are
don't know if anybody knows
acting
that.
like the panorama is over, but the panorama is still all around us, Charlie.
It's all around
It is
us.
everywhere you go. Okay? And we're all coping. We're all coping. And some people cope in different ways. Some people watch endless amounts of television. Some people, I don't know, start working out, or I don't know anyone who does that actually. And some people, I don't know, do recreational drugs. And some people order a lot of takeout, okay? No judgment. We all are coping. I'm a takeout orderer. Here's a poem about my coping mechanism. Tonight is the night. Tonight is the night. Yes, it's just you and me and you. Janice, this cropped cotton Oxford shirt, these baby blue trousers, this purplish lip, this glittery eyeshadow. We are staying in, but first, let's go out. Takeout. It's takeout night, like last night, but tonight is special. Okay, it's for us. It's a good night. It's a sensual night for one. Why, yes, the Danforth is looking sparkly tonight. The lights bounce off sidewalk, dazzling the restaurant windows, portals to culinary worlds of flavor prisms exploding. Wrap the puffer coat around your neck, Janice. One foot in front of the other, crossing, crisscrossing, steps 1, 2, and 3, and ball change. And Janice, you are feeling good. The sidewalk is loving you. Do a little twirl for the garbage bins, the cardboard stacks, bicycle rings award your sidewalk. 10, 10, 10.
On the side. Thank you.
What a mystery you are behind that sexy mask. No one knows your plump purple lips pursed. Only you, Mr. Relator. Pick up those chicken wings. Tap that card. Don't even touch it. Air it. Waft it. Get it and go. What a night. What a night. Thank you.
The thunder tube you all knew you needed.
So let's talk about food and give thanks to all the frontline workers and restaurant workers who have been keeping us fed through these tough times, because not everybody can just cook up a beautiful meal at home, and so we rely on the professionals. So we're interested in a little bit. We want to do a little interactive thing with you right now, audience, who we have so far not chatted with or got to know. So what are you eating these days?
What are you eating?
What did you
what's
last
your favorite
order?
takeout?
What did you order for
If you
takeout?
can
Please
take out.
let us know in the chat.
Or even something that you like to make for yourself. That's always nice to hear about. Just drop it in the chat, my friends.
We will wait for you. Pad Thai.
Oh yeah, we got pad thai from Margaret Christakos. Yes, so delicious. Pizza, heck yes, Paul.
Can't go
Hi,
wrong.
Paul. Nice to see you.
Hi, Paul. Nice to see you.
Hey, we know each other from the Warehouse of Strangers. Oh, tell me what a secret. Oh my God. Yes, very nice to see. Ah, nice. What else? Do we got any people that love? Oh, here we go. I eat in stages now. I made salmon, ate it, and then made pasta. I like that. Little small things to make the day go by. That sounds good.
We had
Thanks,
ginger
Freddie.
fish.
Wine before everything. Yeah. Oh.
I like that.
Mhm.
Wine before everything. Now veggies, but what?
What are veggies? What are the?
A veggie says what?
Ah.
Okay.
A veggie
okay.
says kumquat. Yeah.
Let's work with this. We're gonna do a little improv here.
Oh, that's right. Oh, okay.
With
yeah. Let's do
with
that.
your suggestions. So whatever you put in the chat, it's gonna make it into the piece. So I recommend you, heckle in the chat because it's gonna make it in. Drop it down. It becomes a lyric. Okay.
Drop it like it's hot pot. Don't drop hot pot. It'll get everywhere. It'll probably burn. Okay.
Check. Okay.
Just lay down a little track here.
What is pizza? Except the love I feel for myself. 8 slices of love that I can consume in one day. 8 slices of pizza. 8 morsels of love for myself. Is pizza more than yeasted bread and cheese and your assorted toppings? Isn't pizza love?
Now, veggies, but what?
What? No. What? No, we're quiet. Veggies, quiet. But
We are solitude. We eat it. We consume our solitude all together, but just by myself. Is how I'm dealing. I'm keeping myself alive. Wondering why I'm alive. What am I living for except this pasta, this pad thai, this chicken wing?
We would like to say thank you to all the people that bring the food, that bring it over borders, that bring it over oceans, that bring it to the cars, that shop for people, that make it in restaurants that keep getting closed and open and closed and open, to every migrant worker that helps us bring food to everybody involved in the food industry. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Wow, what an amazing, spontaneous, collaborative poem. Thank you, Charlie.
Yes, thank you everybody for helping us with that. That was wonderful. Oh, dog cam. Dog cam.
While we're talking about people working on the front lines in this ongoing panorama, I want to give a shout out to all the healthcare workers. You know, the Premier keeps talking about, we've got more beds, we've added more beds, 500 more beds, but the healthcare workers are like, but there are no staff. We don't have enough nurses to run those beds, so it's just furniture. And it's been astonishing watching healthcare workers publicly outcrying for what they need and what's not actually feasible in the hospitals, but the governments don't listen. And so I want to honor the frontline workers in the hospitals. Our leaders call nurses frontline heroes, fighting for lives on their feet. Running shoes only give them support until 12 hours complete. No water, no breaks as patients flatline, to whom they pledge no harm. No retreat, no reserves, no relief delivered. Non-stop rings the alarm. Where is our commander-in-chief? Is he still out on break? Is he cracking a beer or shoveling snow or driving up to the lake? He called our nurses heroes himself, but refuses to give them a raise. Years later, gives them a one-time fee, keeps them understaffed, overworked, underpaid. As nurses quit, does he pump his fist that public healthcare is splitting? He builds his writ to sell all of it to buddies who'll make a killing. After the war, if there is an after, will he cut a long blue ribbon, hand out medals, parade and pomp, build a monument? He'll pat himself on his back, ignore damage done to spirits, dismiss their pain like veterans, but take pictures and the credit. It's women, mostly, at the bedside, fighting on the fronts. Thank you, nurses. I honor your unending job well done. Thank you. Thank you to the healthcare workers. Charlie, you used to be a healthcare worker.
Yes, I was. I was a hospital bed allocator, so you know how horrifying this is for me to watch my, our waiting rooms. At one point, I was also a 911 operator, and so the day that Toronto ran out of ambulances, which was during the Omicron not long ago, to be a 911 operator and to have no ambulance to give to people is one thing. To think about the amount of people in the Emerge sitting with paramedics is another thing, and to think about all the beds that aren't going to be offered because of how many people are ending up in Emerge is alarming. Our emergency rooms have become mass casualty incidents, which essentially means that not everybody who can be helped will be helped. So that is something important to think about as we take our masks off. We should not be taking our masks off. Let's keep helping each other, protect each other. Yeah, I have another poem I would like to do. in celebration of trans and non-binary people. And it is called Transilience. Oh, I hope it goes.
I sing on it.
Oh, you sing on it. Okay, right. Thank you.
But you start.
Collaboration.
In real time.
Mm-hmm. It's live and in person, people. Transilience. Trans is waiting for your name to get called while the teams go ahead and play the game on top of you. Gender fluid is the shiny new car that your parents think is a wreck and will never let out of the driveway. Non-binary is rehearsing how to exit the bathroom stall in a way that will get you past the four men surrounding it, but not incite their violence. Non-binary is transmasculine is walking well behind women so they don't get too worried while evading men who follow you too closely. Non-binary is rehearsing. Fluidity is taking out the pin from the "How can I help you?" grenade and hearing the answer click on retail floors. Coming out is revisiting the library in your brain and closing so many books that had remained open, waiting for answers. Trans is whispering to your child self, "I'm so sorry I didn't listen to you. Let's give you the life you deserve." Thank you.
Charlie Petch, everybody. Charlie Petch. Their new book, Why I Was Late, is out now with Brick Books.
That's right.
You can
that's
buy
right.
it and get a copy yourself.
Now, Janice Jo Lee has been working on a beautiful album, and this is, this is true, and it's so nice to. I love the process, and so it's been really wonderful to watch Janice, create this and organize it and do all the hard work to get this album. And one of the main tracks on this, they're all main tracks, but
this is the title track.
This is the title track. So Ancestor Song from Janice Jo Lee.
Thank you, Charlie. Shout out to all my ancestors hanging out on the Zoom room.
You knew the world, its crevices and its curves. Do you remember learning of the roof? Growing little girls, swiftly flying bird. Do you remember discovering your voice?
Hollowed bell in drum, winding on your tongue. Do you remember it? Turning breath into sound. A litany of tones, melodies, you whoa. Ba-dum da dum do da dum da da dum. Ba-dum da dum do. Ba-dum da dum do da dum da da dum. Ba-dum da dum do. Ba-dum da dum do da dum da da dum. Ba-dum da dum do. Ba-dum da dum do da dum da da dum. Ba-dum da dum do. Oh, how sound echoes, waves off the walls. Never was a cage, it was holding empty, staying. Oh, the earth, the glorious. Oh, the earth, a symphony, a chorus. Listening the land dance, a bouncing back. Do you remember feeling your first ever breeze? Led you to adore, unknown to you before. Do you remember the blinding of the sun? Expanding of the sky, opening your eyes. Glorious, oh the earth, a symphony, a chorus. Oh the earth, the glorious, oh the earth, a symphony, a chorus. Oh the earth, the glorious, oh the earth, a symphony, a chorus. Oh the earth, the glorious, oh the earth, a symphony, a chorus. Oh the earth, the glorious, oh the earth, a symphony, a chorus. Oh the earth, the glorious, oh the earth, a symphony, a chorus. Be sure to remember after this life, when body turns to earth, melodies survive. Listen, have you heard inside you is a bird? Remember, carry on. Remember, carry on. Ancestor Song. Glorious on the earth, symphony, a chorus. On the earth, glorious on the earth, symphony, a chorus. 감사합니다. Thank you. Thank you to our audience. That was Ancestor Song. Well, it brings us to the end of our show.
Or is it? Well, this is a song that I kind of jumped in on one time. Unintentional collaboration.
I guess it's pretty funny. I was doing an Instagram live from my bedroom, and Charlie tuned in from their bedroom, which is next to mine. And I was like, Charlie, what are you doing? I'm on the Instagram, I'm like, get in here and bring an instrument. And then you brought your harmonica.
My harmonica. Yes, I love a harmonica.
So this is a uplifting song about heartbreak.
There's nothing more uplifting than heartbreak.
People love juxtaposition, okay?
They just love it,
People love that.
Yeah.
Here we go. It's called The Same Angel. Thank you so much for coming to our show. Thank you, Margaret Christakos and UBC, for having us back.
Thank you so
having
much.
us. And thank you to you, Charlie. Great show.
Yeah,
that was a
great
really
show,
wonderful
Janice.
performance. I love a lot of those pieces.
I mean, yeah, I'm loving your pieces too. And of course, we got to recognize the soul and heart of the show.
True.
The lovely Tempo Cam. Tempo did a lot of performing. It's just like meditating right now. thinking about climate change.
Kind of like animating the space, filling the empty space.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
always nice to have like a mover dancer as part of the show.
Mhm. Yeah, we are blessed to have such a talent.
So thank you, Tempo. We're going to
Thank
feed
you.
you in treats. Angel, the day is done. Everyone is gone, but you're in my head. Angel, I need to sleep. Oh, won't you please take me away to a dreamland where we can dance an arm's length apart, twirling on a cloud, shining in your eyes. I can see the stars. I would change my hair, my clothes, my laugh for you to pay attention. I would run across the country for you if this was a competition. And I love you like a quiet song held inside my heart. I love you that I'll never change, while you still are the same angel. Angel, you are a space cadet, lost inside your head, floating away. Angel, what you thinking about? What adventures now are you going on? 'Cause you know I wanna tag along like I always do. I'll bring the snacks, navigate the map, take pictures of you. I change my hair, my clothes, my laugh for you to pay attention. I would run across the country for you if this was a competition. And I love you like a quiet song held inside my heart. I love you that I'll never change, while you still are the same angel. Angel, it's been some time. You haven't replied. I know you are busy. Angel, don't want to bother you, but was hoping to, I don't know, like maybe hang out. 'Cause I've been going to the movies alone, which I know is cool. But I got no one to whisper all my deep research comments to. Angel, one day I hope to find somebody as kind and weird as you. Angel, the world is wide. I'll go alone this time. I've packed all my bags. I won't send any postcards and I won't wish you were here. I swear I'll make new friends and be nice to them. Walk right through my fear. But still I change my hair, my clothes, my laugh for you to pay attention to me. I will run across the country for you, but it don't work that way, you see. And I love you like a quiet song held inside my heart. I love you that I'll never change, while you still are the same angel. I love you
Good reaction video from Tempo. Yay,
Hooray!
Janice!
Great show, everybody.
Thank you.
Bow. It's just, can we just bow in unison?
Oh, okay.
Please give us a bow. Yeah. Woo.
Okay.
Thank you
maybe
so
we'll
much.
ask
Thank you
everybody
so
to
much.
unmute so they
And-
can just.
And
give us
people,
some
if you
love.
could unmute yourself and let your feelings be audible.
Yay!
Woo!
Great work. Yeah, you did good. Yeah, all right. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's the one piece of social media and Zoom that we don't have figured out much is how to really be our voices in response, be the audience with you and really letting our responsiveness be audible. Thank you so much. I think I'm speaking for everyone who's stayed that I'd love to know the instrument that Tempo is playing. It's just the best instrument I've ever heard and in perfect.
I want that instrument.
I want that instrument. That's an instrument. Yeah.
It was a one of a kind, so I don't know now.
Yeah, it's sort of maybe self reinventing every day. Janice and Charlie, I have so many feelings right now, which isn't something I often have in relation to the Zoom, you know. I also had that deep pleasure of being able to stay with you in a space that you were creating and replenishing and turning and advancing and then holding over time. And, you know, we just don't give ourselves time with these media. And I'm really struck by how I have been at a concert, you know, and I have also been touched in this exchange. And I think probably everyone listening and attending feels some of that sense of involvement, that sense of engagement. Really beautiful. How do you feel? How are you both feeling?
Physically, I'm feeling great.
You know,
It's so
that's the
nice
thing.
to
Is it
have-
mind? Is it body? Is it mind, body? Is it where we're feeling is complicated right now.
I
It's
can tell that
tempo.
our audience is quite mixed.
Tempo. Okay.
Well, speaking for myself, I loved it, and but I am dying to know what the dog has just demolished.
Oh,
Birthday hat.
it was a birthday hat. You wear it and it's like a birthday cake. I can try it. See if I can get it from him. Show it to you. I don't know if we want to interrupt.
Still demolishing it.
Yeah.
Work in
it's not
progress.
finished yet.
So
Yeah, we thank you so much. It was great, and
I like the folding, the fold upon fold. Very, very interesting.
Good.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, as a kind of sonic event, but also thematic and conceptual and materialist, and took us through time. And you know, I think the word intimacy is really really active here. It did feel like a very intimate kind of exchange between both of you, but also with this full awareness of the audience, of having an audience, of an audience being present, even though, you know, we're operating across these distances. So I really thank you for that.
Yes.
Would anyone else like to make a general comment? I do have a few questions that I wanted to put to Charlie and Janice, but I also feel very full and replete. And but I would like to just open up if there is anyone who has a hand raised or anything like that wants to ask a question or express their response.
Look forward to learning the loop pedal. That's awesome what you guys do. That is so riffing off yourself over and over. The whole round song poetry of it all. It's just beautiful. So really brilliant evening.
Thank you. I'm actually doing a loop pedal workshop on the 31st with Regina Word Up, and it's got spots. So if you want to come and like just see how it all works, then...
Dude, I'm already in there.
Okay, got it. Okay, good. Yeah, it's on my website, charliecpetch.com, if anybody wants to have a look.
This is going to start a whole new wave.
Yeah, now we're not going to be special anymore. Just kidding.
Could you see us when you were playing?
No, I could. No, I could not. Was there some dancing going on? What did I miss?
There were costume changes. I mean, there was a lot was going on, but you were inspiring it.
We got more cameras than Sportsnet, guys.
Yeah, this is a really interesting dimension of design that you come up with, having this kind of multi vector environment where, for me as a viewer, I'm also, continually trying to allow myself to move from position to position. And that's just a way of activating, consciousness in your audience in a way that it's just really remarkably enlivening. It's really, it feels like better than being in a fixed position in a club where you're meant to stay in your seat. Like, there's a kind of virtual movement that you created that made me think this was a really interesting medium.
Yeah, I think you are really, both of you, using the Zoom medium and the electronics so innovatively, and you're taking us into new territory. I mean, we're really just at the beginning of figuring out how to make the most out of this Zoom thing that we've all been captured by. And it's just the multiple angles, right? Having more than one cam showing what you're doing. That's brilliant, right? I mean,
and the repeats.
And the repeats. It was excellent.
Yeah. Thanks, Meredith. It was great to hear. I mean, to me, I go back a little bit to, what Jane Sibrey was doing in the early 80s, and Laurie Anderson, of course, early Laurie Anderson. Are you sort of working with some, sort of particular influences in this kind of practice that you're developing at all? That just wonder, the clichettes, feminist comedy. There's just the whole kind of camp environment you're also really creating. It's really multimodal and beautiful.
Both have clown training,
right?
And for to me, clown is when you are so in touch with your inner child, the sense of play, an abandon of self-judgment, an abandon of any kind of limitation to yourself, and you just try it because you are following your pleasure, you're following your joy and your delight. And so for this moving to the Zoom, I did clown training on Zoom, and I found the delight in this form, like getting close to the camera, putting my mouth, my eye close to the camera, being like, oh, I get to make people feel uncomfortable because they're so close to my camera. Finding the play in that has helped really set the tone of my online performances. And I think that's a huge reason why Charlie and I get along, is because we both have this clown tendency to want to just like cause trouble and an irreverence,
disrupt,
and a defiance as well of like what the kind of formality that Zoom often, the tone of Zoom brings. Muting, unmuting, all these things.
And what about the vaudeville or the kind of comedy, physical comedy, the sort of satirical?
I always gotta say like Marlene Dietrich, but
Did she play Saw?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Not many people do. And as a flagrant bisexual, polyamorous woman, of course, she looked great on yachts with many lovers. And we both studied under Adam Lazarus, watching his physical comedy, or The Red Bastard. His physical comedy is really incredible. Monty Python, so many clowns around, And, and then like I have influences from the time I spent doing theater in Peterborough, Ontario. So like Pat Walsh or Beth Core, who's a wonderful performance artist, and just seeing people, going away from any sort of traditional theater and being like, I just know what I want to see, I just want to like do it in the space. I don't, no barrier in between art and doing almost, which can only really happen in, extreme ways sometimes, just to like develop yourself to be able to do that.
And it's so relational. I mean, it does seem like you have an energy and an imaginative space together that exponentially kind of excites you to
I think that's what a good
different forms of
ensemble
playing
or band does, right? When you come together, it's not 1 + 1 is 2, it's 1 + 1 is 3 or 4. Like your capacity grows exponentially because you can unlock capabilities in each other by adding and discovering new things that you can do. And so it's been so great to live with an artist after not living with an artist, because we can't jam or be an ensemble the way we were pre-Panorama. So
Panorama. That's a nice version of reality, Janice. Love it.
Microphones are all placed differently.
But yeah, like even like this improv thing that we did, like it wouldn't happen without all of you. Like this is our special, that is like such a special moment to create something with the audience within this, something that's never going to be repeated again, and like just the specialness of this is still live performance, right? It's just a different thing. And it's just really beautiful to let the form show us what we can do with it as well. Like I'm always learning more about Zoom as I play around with it. So going back to that sense of play and just being open to whatever is shown to you, whether it's with a collaboration or whether it's with a medium or with an instrument, just remaining open all the time until I go to sleep. Then I'm
kind of a radical openness that you're also modeling for everyone.
I'm a model
here.
We're radically open models.
Models, I think so. That would be a good name for the
troupe. A band name, Radically open models.
This is Panorama. We were pre-Panorama until now, and you brought us into Panorama, and this is kind of a dangerous moment. Last night, Margaret and I were at an event with academics. And even we are getting so good on Zoom now, we're beginning to see we'll have to give things up when we get back together in regular old-fashioned pre-panoramic space again. But this is off the scale. We've had tender, funny, brilliant people at Green College, but this is off the scale on all of those dimensions. It has just been an extraordinary time you've given us. Thank you. We are very full, and this is a new place to be. Don't sell out to Mark Zuckerberg. I think this is what the metaverse was going to be like, only it won't be that good.
Oh, he didn't even make that up. I mean, please.
Nah. And I also think there's something restrained, or there's something impossible still about touching each other in this technology. Like we're still grappling with the, two-dimensionality of each other, and we're aware that we're pushing against it to produce these other dimensions to try to. But we know, like we're in a virtual space, and as we move forward into, more of a hyper embodied kind of technology that I don't know, alters our sense of body in space with each other more. I find this constraint really interesting. And
but meanwhile, Margaret, tell us who's up next in your cabaret before we thank Janice Jo and Charlie again. Who's up next on your stage?
I will tell you about that, Mark. And I do want us to all say, very, very deep thank you and good night to Janice and to Charlie. And I so appreciate you taking this space and filling it with just this experimental, sort of agog sense that we're all having of pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
As the premiere event in Distance as a Keeping, you've really shown us so many ways that we can move through our distances toward each other. And the second event is going to be February 16th, and we're going to take a little bit of a different tack. We're going to move into the sort of area of thinking about long time and structures of long time. We have a beautiful poet, Ralph Kolevi, who's has a gorgeous, very, 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 very long poem called The Absence of Zero, recently published. He's here with us tonight. Hi, Ralph. And this is a poem that just expands and expands and uses repetition and interruption in ways that riff off of quantum physics, quantum mechanics. I got to learn the language. I got a lot of homework to do before we talk about it. But alongside Ralph, we're going to have a feminist scholar and out-tripping photographer, Diane Chisholm, come to talk with us about her own, the evolution of her own photographic practice, moving into the mountainous spaces of East Greenland and other Arctic communities. And somehow photography, Ralph is also a photographer, and I'm a sort of wannabe photographer. We're going to have a conversation about image making processes that allow us to hold large structures, to create large structures, and maybe what they have to do with the outer realms of, the cosmologies that make us recognize that we're a speck in the ether. So that's our next evening, and I would love it if you'd come back and bring forward the memory of tonight. And until then, February 16th, thank you all so much for coming. And again, let's have one more hurrah for Charlie and Janice.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Keep well, everyone, and stay in touch.